Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It's set in the fictional location of Shadaloo where the allied nations have banded together. In an attempt to locate his hidden stronghold, they face down against the armed forces of the sadistic dictator General Bison. After recently capturing over 60 relief workers, he has the soldiers amongst them brought to him by his lieutenant Zang for fair but mismatched fights. While he executes them, the regional commander of the Allies Guile appears on television to taunt Bison. It's his out-of-the-box play to get the general to call into the station, as he knows Bison's arrogance will get the best of him. It works, and the general calls to demand $20 billion in 3 days, or else he begins killing the rest of the hostages. Afterwards, Lieutenant Cammy informs Guile that she wasn't able to get an exact location and that they'll need to try something else. One of the not-so-lucky hostages is Guile's best friend and comrade in arms, Blanka, who's taken away for experimentation at the hands of Bison's neglected scientist Dulcim. He uses psycho-conditioning and pumps the soldier full of volatile chemicals to turn him into an aggressive killing machine, and the first of many in Bison's new army of super soldiers. Elsewhere, a cagefighter named Vega also works for the head of a cartel called the Shadaloo Tong. His boss Sagat's met by two out-of-town con men named Ryu and Ken, disguised as arms dealers trying to sell him some suspicious-looking weapons. After inspecting the goods, Sagat notices that the fake weapons only fire tennis balls, and the club breaks out into a fight. The two well-trained fighters try to escape but are captured and made to put their skills to the test against the people's champion. Ryu's put against Vaga first, and they agree to do this without any weapons, but the moment they engage, the allied forces come crashing through a wall and Guile arrests everybody. Because of this, Sagat sends one of his assassins to kill the colonel during his meeting, but he easily deals with it himself. The man is affiliated with Sagat, so they assume the Tong are Bison's arms dealers and plan to get someone inside the gang. Since Sagat knows that Ryu and Ken aren't associated with the Allies and they clearly aren't fond of each other due to the fights in the yard, Guile rounds them up and gives them the ultimatum of life in prison or to help them find the location of Bison. Being that they're good guys anyway, they agree and decide to stage a prison break on the day of their transfer. The two friends get into a fistfight, allowing the separating guards to hand them the keys and make it look legit. This wins over Sagat, who's willing to forget all wrongdoings if they just help him escape the city. They hijack the transport together, and during their chaotic escape, Ken seals the deal with the crime lord when he also shoots and supposedly kills Guile. Local news reporter Chun-Li also manages to put her own tracker on the truck to locate Bison for her own agenda. She and professional boxer turned cameraman Balrog have been following Guile's crusade along with the sumo wrestler Honda. The three have all had their professional careers ruined by Bison and wish to get revenge, but discover interference with their tracking device to be coming from inside the Allies' headquarters. At night, Chun-Li sneaks inside to find the cause coming from the second locator planted by the still-living Guile. He's faked his death on the news so that Bison lets down his guard and invites the Tong back to his lair. Chun-Li's arrested to keep her from ruining the Allies' plan, but escapes the facility by leaping out a window and running away. The trio's plans to sneak inside a black market disguised as performers during one of Bison's arms deals. Sagat's new recruits are also attending, but Ken falls in love at the sight of Chun-Li and can't stop himself from going after her. She's tricked him and even Ryu into a tent to be captured by her team, but upon realizing that they're Guile's agents, she lets them go and tells them to leave before she blows the place. Inside the command tent, relations sour between Bison and Sagat when the dictator reveals the phony money that he wishes to pay for the guns with. Bison assures his partner that it'll actually be worth something when he defeats the Allies and turns the world into his vision of Bisonopolis. Each feeling disrespected by the other, a shootout's about to begin between the two sides when the boys wander back inside. Just then, Chun-Li comes on a television set to say farewell while trying to kill Bison and Sagat with her truck bomb. But the explosion only destroys the weapons and gets the news crew captured anyway. The dictator takes them back to his secret lair where Ryu and Ken are welcomed into his army as Bison troops. They begin to search for the hostages in the dungeons where Honda's taking a beating, but his sumo training keeps him from showing any pain. The torturer goes to collect a better device when Ryu and Ken arrive to save them, but Balrog and Honda have already escaped. Elsewhere in the castle, Chun-Li's held prisoner in Bison's quarters where he slips into his more comfortable hat. The reporter reveals that the worst day of her life was when Bison's men invaded her village and killed her father, but the general just remembers it as a Tuesday. To his surprise, Chun-Li gives him a beating like he's never experienced, but the arrival of the boys distracts her, allowing Bison to flee and capture the 5 intruders once again with the use of knockout gas. Meanwhile, Guile leads an amphibious assault on his agent's location from a stealth boat atop the river. While en route, Guile, Cammy and Hawk are detected approaching the fortress by Bison's advanced equipment, so he hops on his control platform and begins releasing underwater mines. The trio all barely avoid being blown up by ditching the boat at the last second, leaving the dictator to believe that he's killed Guile for a second time. The three allies take the beach by force and have Guile sneak inside Bison's fortress alone while the other two wait for the invasion force. By now Dalsim has increased Blanka's body mass by 70%, turning his hair orange and skin green. A guard notices that he's secretly been using videos of positive reinforcement in an attempt to disrupt the experiment. In the ensuing struggle they accidentally allow the confused specimen to escape his chamber and he kills the first aggressive person he sees. Guile sneaks inside the laboratory and is suddenly attacked by Blanka, who doesn't recognize him at first. When his best friend releases him, Guile thinks the best thing's to put the deformed monster out of his misery, but Dalsim stops him. He says that he's done all he can do to preserve Blanka's memories, but he's unable to tell what's right from wrong. Just then the incubation chamber activates as Bison's preparing to execute the hostages before the allies assault the castle. He's planning to use Blanka to kill them, but to his shock the commander leaps out of it with a boot to the face. Guile manages to save the prisoners before the guards can kill them, but isn't able to prevent one from setting off the red alert. All units are deployed, forcing Cammy and Hawk to hold off waves of Bison's troops alone until the attack party can arrive. Once the amphibious force lands, the army march on Bison's fortress and the battle begins. The five heroes all split up to go for their own targets, like Honda challenging Zangief to a clash of titans. They trample all over the model of Bisonopolis like they're kaiju, while the allies enter the castle and rescue their commander from an ambush. While the two petty criminals try to escape, Ryu has a change of heart and decides to return and help the others. The greedy Ken continues on and locates Bison's office, but finds the vault already looted. He looks on the monitors for a way out, but sees Ryu cornered in the locker rooms by Sagat and Vega. Vega's no match for Ryu alone, but the two together will surely kill him. So Ken returns to save his buddy and the two begin an intense fight side by side. Eventually the Shadaloo Tong are beaten with a hurricane kick from Ryu and dragon punch from Ken, before they both leave them defeated and return to help the others. Guile's confronted by Bison to engage in a one-on-one fight where their men are ordered to step down. They begin belting each other's faces in and take a tumble onto Bison's command platform that begins flying out of control. After outmatching him for most of the fight, Guile finishes Bison by knocking him onto a control panel that electrocutes him. Assuming that it's done, Guile goes to leave when an automatic revival system brings Bison back with the ability to shoot lightning bolts from his hands. Now able to use his boots to fly around the room, Bison destroys what's left of his own office in the pursuit of nearly killing his rival. In a lackluster ending to a fight that makes the dictator seem like he's immortal, Guile just leaps up and kicks him across the room into the monitor wall, taking his last bar of health. It sets off the self-destruct sequence, so Guile returns to the lab to help Dalsim and Blanka escape. They both rather stay, with Blanka not wanting to return to human society and Dalsim wanting to atone for his part in all this. This whole time Chun-Li and Balrog have been freeing the hostages and begin escaping the temple. They pass Honda, who tells Zangief that he's actually working for the bad guys, which seems to blow his little mind. In a side story, Bison's technician Dee Jay is actually the one who cleaned out the vault and fled before things got too hairy. When Zangief learns that Dee Jay was getting paid by Bison, this makes him do a complete 180 and he decides to help all the allied forces escape. After the temple comes crashing down behind them, the group gather together and round up all of the surviving Bison troops. Everyone thinks Guile's dead when he suddenly comes stumbling out from the smoke behind them, thanking the team for their help and promising to give Chun-Li the private interview that she wanted. A final explosion sees the rest of the temple come crashing down as the Street Fighters do their winning poses from the games. Downriver, Dee Jay and Sagat have also escaped and plan to share in Bison's treasure together, but it's just full of useless Bison bills. A quick post-credits scene shows the ruined interior of Bison's stronghold and the evil general that's still alive. And the movie ends.
That was beautiful.